I am. You hear me?
Yeah, man. How you doing?
I don't know if I don't know if I can follow that pair. That was
No,
a
no,
great story.
they're. Boy, that story came out of like I go, man, how'd you guys meet? Thinking like, it's really cool though. Like the thing is, there's always a silver lining when sometimes crap goes wrong in your life, and that's this business is no different than like any other
Nah.
business. Like some of my best friends are from like real estate deals I did, and like you ever know, like, uh, they always say you can determine the measure of a man or a woman, not when everything's going good, but like when the crap hits the fan. And boy, I've had that happen to me. And some of my closest allies, the people I work with in this business, were there when like there was a lot of like doubt being casted on like techniques we were doing and stuff like that. I've always pushed the envelope. And I've learned as I've gotten older, like, okay, here's my deal. If I have to sit in front of a judge and explain what I was doing and I can't explain it, I will not do it because I've been in that position. And as an investor, you are raised on an upper platform because you are considered an expert. And if you ever try to take advantage of someone or you disclose a material fact, even though we're not realtors, we're not lawyers, we're still, the judge always says, what was your intent, Rick? And that's the whole point of most court cases. They're always looking for what the person's true intent is. And they look at the facts. And sometimes you can be doing the right thing and it still doesn't fly. So, anyways, what's going on with you, man? What can I help you out with?
Well, I've had some success with wholesale lease options in the
Okay.
past, and I'm wondering this great presentation that you had earlier. I'm wondering if we're going into a market where that would be a good vehicle with what you spoke about today, the tired landlords.
100%. So we haven't had a market like that's coming up. Listen, you all know it's coming up. Like we're already here. What most people don't understand is we're just on the like you ever see like a snow-capped mountain, like the little tippy tops covered in snow, maybe in July. We're
Yes.
we're just on the backside of the top of that mountain, man. I've been through this ride. No ride's the exact same, but I just did a video on my 2023 outlook, and I'll sum it up for you right now. And you can find it on my channel on Rick Ginn on YouTube. Is um, prices are definitely going down. Mortgage rates are going to continue to rise, and I think our government's going to struggle with getting inflation under control because we've had 6 rate increases and we've barely 7.7. They need to get to 2. Do you know how hard that's going to be to do? And they are dead set. They have put everything on 2% inflation. To get the 2% inflation, stuff has to break. The employment has to break. It has to. And what happens is employment's at like 3.9. It's got to go, in my opinion, close to 5 to get there. Do you know how many people go, well, that's a small number? I go, that puts a lot of good Americans out of work. And good Americans
Absolutely.
own houses, and that's where all the problems. But here's what happens when employment starts to go up. It's like a virus; it explodes. You can't stop it, and then they do the opposite, and they try to bring it reemployment back, and that's even harder. But like if you're fighting inflation, if they have to fight inflation and a high unemployment, I don't know what tools you use to do that because like you have to work two knobs at the same time, and our government can barely work one. And I love our IRS. I think they're the greatest. So, but the rest of the government, they're completely clueless, and I say that for my own protection. So, it's just it's nuts what's going on. So you are right on. So any type of creative financing opportunity, lease options, owner financing, subject to, wide open. What I don't want you to do is go like I'm going to master creative finance because here's the problem with most creative financing, especially in the last 4 or 5 years. You guys pay top dollar prices. So what's the attractive part of creative financing? People go, well, you don't have to compete with wholesalers because you just pay them retail price. Well, that can backfire on you too. I'm a strong proponent. I love lease options, and lease options is just a real simple technique. I'm not even like go over it in detail, but it's just you're taking over a property and just taking over someone else's headache and making money do it. The key with lease options, you make money from what? Day one. So if you bought 5 properties, you had to give everybody 10 or 20 grand. How long are you going to last doing that? Unless you're playing with someone else's money. Most of us are playing with our own money. So I'm only going to do creative financing when I can make money from day one. And if you do not take this strategy, especially in the beginning, you're going to have challenges because how many houses can you buy without making money before you got to go back to work? So that's the problem. I love lease options because if I give the owner $3,000 to as an option, and then I take a $10,000 payment, I'm walking away with basically a $7,000 assignment plus the monthly cash flow. Why not do it? And then you've got the end option on it. But the problem is a lot of creative financing is it's really hard to teach a creative financing course. Why? Because it takes experience. It takes time. So you've done lease options before, right?
Well, the wholesale lease options, where
Yeah.
I have not stayed in the middle. So,
Yeah. But it takes some learning,
but from
right?
day
It takes
one,
a lot of
yeah,
time.
absolutely,
So
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
started out wholesaling, and then I started learning all these other strategies while I was wholesaling, making money. And then occasionally I would buy a house subject to. But even when I bought a house subject to, the ones I put down a giant down payment, I got my butt kicked on because I didn't know what I was doing. And the ones I put down little to nothing, I still own today because I can survive in any market. And as long as it's paying me, it's not a liability to me. But if I learn a strategy where I can give a homeowner like 15 grand and then I'm going to rent it out, or I can get say 5 grand from because I got to do some sort of lease on it. That means you're 5, 10 grand in the hole when you start. It's going to take you 5 years to dig out of that hole.
Absolutely.
And then what if you have to sell it and get rid of it? What if you owe 250 on it and the market only dictates 200? What are you going to do? You got to give that property back to the owner. You know how difficult of a conversation that is. Yep. So I suggest you have to go in from day one where you made money so you don't have to let it go. And guys, I gave 3 properties back in creative financing. That's why I don't. Now I did it at the peak of the market and then drop off. What are we going? We're just coming off the peak of the market and it's going down. So a lot of people are going to be exposed. The people that did Airbnb and short-term rentals, they're going to get destroyed. And that is one of your opportunities right there, Tom. I'm telling you right now, the short-term rentals beyond saturated. It's way oversaturated. It's way over leveraged, and the demand is dropping significantly. So go look at the earnings report for Airbnb. It reads like a horror story.
Absolutely.
Their stocks down.
Their
stocks down 59%, and we've just started, and they don't know how they're going to make revenue for the next 2 years. So people don't travel as much, and when the economy shrinks, and the challenge is you got all these short-term rentals out there. People cut back. Even rich people cut back because they want to take their cash to buy other opportunities. So what do you do with all these short-term rentals? We have I think I forgot what they said, the market percentage. I think 10% of the U.S. real estate market is short-term rentals. That's insane. It should be like 1 or 2%. And then what happened is we let me show you how to get super rich doing Airbnb. So Guru sold courses on it. And they go, listen, instead of getting $2,000 a month, I'll show you how to get $10,000 a month. I'm like, oh, please show me. In my opinion, short-term rentals, at least destination, Airbnb, VRBO, should be for destination vacation. I'm going to the Keys. I'm going to, some exotic location. I'm going to Hawaii, something beachfront. Maybe it's got a mountain, a stream. You're probably going to work just fine on that. But now in Port St. Lucie, they're renting rooms out, room to room for $150 a month. It's like it's a disaster. And then they're passing all these laws to ban it because it's become such a problem. Because people will go, well, now you can pay $300,000 for that Port St. Lucie house because you're going to generate $6,000 a month when it only gets $2,000 a month on a regular rental. All those people are coming home to roost. It's going to be a disaster, in my opinion. It's going to be really bad. Those in particular, the higher end homes, I'm not talking about those because those owners can withstand it and they'll survive it. But when you start renting rooms out in your home to make money, oh my God, like you got to be kidding me. So I think short-term rentals are going to have a huge hiccup. So their cash flow is going to go down. And what's the one common denominator on all these houses? And you got to be aware of this too when doing lease options. The cost of real estate to run and operate is gone up significantly. The cost of insurance in Florida, it's outrageous. And they're getting ready to meet in Tallahassee to try to address it. It's so bad. 83% of the roof claims all come from Florida. I'd like to tell you it's from a hurricane. No, it's from lawyers and roofers taking advantage of the insurance system. They do it all the time. They'll knock on your door and go, hey, listen, I can get you a new roof. I get pitched 10 times a month. That's how bad it is. It's such a scam. And then they're taking home $15,000, $20,000 like commission checks. So they're actually flipping houses by doing this stuff. So the only thing you got to watch is just your cost of operating these things. Insurance, the property taxes are pretty high because the values went up. So if you can make the numbers and get positive cash flow from day one, make it monthly, and then make it then, go for it, man. And I think it's going to get ripe. I will tell you this though, be a little bit patient, because the best timing is probably going to come by next summer. If you want to time it for lease options, if a subject 2 comes up, subject 2 is just kind of fall in your lap when you do wholesaling. Like a deal doesn't work out and someone goes, yeah, but I got a mortgage of 3.5% and I'm year 4 into it. You might be able to be close to retail if the numbers work, because the cash flow numbers might work, because that mortgage is an asset in today's market. So the thing is, you don't, like, a lot of people think, oh, I got to go out and like do this super training. And listen, I'm not opposed to anybody like getting proper training, but how are you going to make money doing creative finance? Because most of the courses teach you how to buy them and make money in the long run. But what are you going to do for the next 5 years until those things happen with it? And that's the challenge with it. Every now and then you can make some quick money on like a creative financing. But if you're doing it like while they're teaching the courses, their success is based on how many properties you buy. Just because you buy a creative financing deal doesn't mean you made money. If you make money from day one, you won. But if you paid money, that's what we call like an operating loss. I know it shows on the balance sheet differently, but in my opinion, you better make sure you're cash flow positive from day one on any creative financing you do, unless you're very advanced and you know what you're doing. So I've been doing this 20 years. I can leave a $10,000 or $20,000 downstroke. And if I have a long-term play for the property, I'm fine with it. I would never teach you guys how to do it. It's why I don't teach you how to do it, because it took me years to learn that art of that conversation. It's very hard to teach a newbie like how to do it, all the pitfalls you got to watch for. So I like lease options because they're actually very simplistic, in my opinion. Very simple. It's a lease, which is a rental contract, and an option agreement. It's clean. It's easy to explain. And the most important part is it's legal.
The model that I've done, and I've only done a handful of these, it's the way it's worked out, is I don't know, 85, 90% of the retail value. Then I'll collect the and I explain to the homeowner that, hey, I can get you a tenant buyer in there with you paying no maintenance, them paying the everyday maintenance. Just allow me to lease it for a couple of years, until they're ready to buy, and I will have them pre-qualified.
And that's where the tired landlord strategy comes in like the play. So like most of those I take over like that, they're like, listen, I just need someone who will make the payments and not hassle me for every little thing, and then cash me out when you say you're going to cash it out. That's typically what the conversation in a nutshell. It's a little bit longer than that, but that's what they care about. What's in it for them. So I love it. Guys, I'm telling you, lease options, it's not a really advanced strategy. And we actually show you the simplistic of doing it. It's a simple conversation. It's clean. Sometimes it works highly effective, and smoking markets can be challenged. The only thing I like to do on any type of creative financing deal, especially lease options, is I want clean properties, because I don't want to put a ton of money into them up front, because a ton of money costs you time, not only money, but time. And then you don't have time. That means someone's not getting in the property and somebody has to pay the bills. If it takes you 2 months to get a property up, you got to pay for it. And that's 2 months of rent or having a tenant buyer in there that you can't capitalize on. And usually when it needs a lot of repairs, it throws all your numbers out of the whack. So if the property needs 25 grand worth of repairs, right? And then the guy wants another like $10,000 to take it over. So that's $35,000 you got to commit to. And that's my challenge with it. So it's like, I don't like to do those types of deals. There's better ways to do it. And guys, my whole focus here is to get you excited, get you started in wholesaling, take the fear out of it. And then once you get some experience on your belt, so many windows open in your life. And it doesn't matter when you started. You started when you're 15, you can do it when you're 90. I don't give a crap. I waited till I was 34 because I woke up and go, there's got to be a better way than life than this. So it doesn't matter. And the beauty of like wholesaling, creative finance, all that, you could be confined to a wheelchair. You could have every disability in the world and you can still do this job. And that's why I love it, because it does give you freedom for what you want to do. And then if you put in the hard work and stuff, as you get down the line, you can actually you can take the foot off the gas if you decide to do that. But don't do it now. 2023 is, I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity. So I love the lease options. They're very straightforward. And I would definitely use that. So I love it.
All right.
So, okay, man. I appreciate it, Tom. Call me back if you need anything. Okay.